Most NBA stars don't want to play for USA. These NBA stars do. So why are they not a part of Team USA's FIBA World Cup roster? I'll tell you why, but it's complicated. 10 years ago, Team USA looked like this. MVPs, champions, all-stars, Hall of Famers at every position. And one bang average white guy who doesn't belong with the rest. The oldest tradition in USA basketball. Apart from that, Team USA used to be a god squad featuring the greatest players in the game. But how did we go from the Dream Team and Redeem Team to the Meme Team? From Michael Jordan to Jody Meeks. From Kobe Bryant to Kendall Marshall, from LeBron James to Norris Cole, from Mason Plumlee to his brother Marshall Plumlee, who's even worse. Once upon a time, playing for the USA senior men's basketball team was a privilege reserved for the very best. Now it's as if they're looking for volunteers. Anyone can play for Team USA. I'm not joking. They must have flyers out in the street trying to recruit players. Take a look at this photo and tell me, who is number 52? Have you ever seen this guy in your life? That is Eric Mika. He plays for G League Ignite. But he isn't some top draft pick like Jalen Green or Scoot Henderson. He is 28 years old, went undrafted, and has played one game in his NBA career. What was once the biggest honour in the sport is now a chore that most NBA stars won't sacrifice their summer for. Team USA actually failed to win the last World Cup in 2019. Why? Because their team looked like this. 4 years later, you would have thought they'd learned their lesson. Newsflash, they haven't. And I'm here to tell you, Team USA ain't winning this year's World Cup. Cause how are you going to beat Spain? How are you going to beat France when you're getting beat by the select team in scrimmages featuring the likes of Langston Galloway, John Jenkins and Peyton Pritchard? This team, number 52 included, is beating the USA team in scrimmages. Reports are coming out that USA players are voting Jaren Jackson Jr. as the best player on the team. Anthony Edwards, who should probably be the best player on the team, is saying it's Josh Hart. Don't get me wrong, they are nice players. But Team USA is in serious trouble if the best two players are Jaren Jackson Jr. and Josh Hart. What happened to Jordan Magic Bird, Kobe KD Bron? Now you got Jackson Josh in number 52. This year's Team USA is the weakest I've seen since last time. Matter of fact, this team is probably worse than the last team that didn't win the World Cup. That team never even made the Final Four. This year's USA team has a combined 4 All-Star appearances, 0 All-NBA teams, and 1 championship. Do you know who it was? Yeah, you ain't a real Hoops fan. How can you not remember Bobby Portis carrying the Bucks to the championship? It was only 2 years ago. Nah, real talk though. Why is the USA basketball team so bad? How are guys like Austin Reeves and Bobby Portis, who probably aren't top 100 players, representing USA on an international stage? Surely USA can put together a better team than this. Surely some of the stars want to play. Well yes, some of them actually do. I'll tell you one right now, LaMelo Ball.
I want to make the Olympic team to represent my country. I want to bring that gold medal back home to my country so they can enjoy something through all this pandemic, these times and all this stuff. I want to be able to say, hey, this is not my medal, this is for y'all.
LaMelo Ball is 21 years old, was Rookie of the Year, an All-Star as a sophomore, and in year 3 was injured a lot. Guess what? He still averaged a career high in points and assists. Trae Young is 24 years old, is a 2-time All-Star All-NBA player. There is not a single player on the USA World Cup roster that is more established in the NBA than Trae Young. None of them are multiple-time All-Stars, none of them have made an All-NBA team. But this isn't the first time Trae Young has been snubbed, it has happened already.
What do you think you have left to do, left to prove in order to crack that roster?
To be honest, I don't know. obviously I was kind of hurt that I didn't make the 44 players.
In February of 2020, Team USA selected 44 players to represent Team USA at the Tokyo Olympics. Only 12 of the 44 get selected. Trae Young wasn't only not selected for the 12 that went to Tokyo, he wasn't one of the 44 players chosen to even make the cut. That season, Trae Young had averaged 29.6 points and 9.3 assists in the NBA. He didn't make the top 44, but these guys did. Malcolm Brogdon, Joe Harris, Derek White, Victor Oladipo, JaVale McGee, Kyle Kuzma, Dwight Howard, Harrison Barnes, Brook Lopez, LaMarcus Aldridge, Tobias Harris, Montrezl Harrell, Andre Drummond, Mike Conley, and many more. Just look at the list. The Tokyo Olympics were actually pushed back to summer 2021 because of COVID, and in year 3, Trae Young was even better. He led the Hawks to the conference finals. It didn't matter, he was snubbed again, and took to Twitter to post this famous Isaiah Thomas quote from The Last Dance.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
Is Trae Young the biggest USA snub since Isaiah Thomas in the Dream Team? Let me know down below in the comments.
I definitely want to. It's up to them if they want me to. I mean, I would love to play with guys and show off my passing even more and not have to go out and score a lot and just be there if they need me to. So, I mean, I'd be happy to, obviously. I'd love to play. But
So here is the question of the video. Why are Trae Young and LaMelo Ball being snubbed? What do these two players have in common? Trae Young is an Adidas athlete with a signature shoe. LaMelo Ball is a Puma athlete with a signature shoe. Team USA is sponsored by what brand? Nike. Gilbert Arenas? Tell them how it is.
If you take the politics out of USA basketball, then the stars will play.
Yeah.
Nike's going to only want Nike players.
This is corny.
Right? They're not going to want to see, they're not going to want to promote Steph Curry's shoe because the shoe kids got to wear their shoes. They're not going to promote the Pumas. Why LaMelo Ball is not on there? You know, Puma's not going to want to, they're not going to be interested, you know, so LaMelo's not going to want to be, even though he wants to play on the team, right?
So Gilbert Arenas was a 3-time All-Star and All-NBA player. He averaged 29 points per game in 2006. He wasn't selected for the final USA team, despite famously cooking Braun, Melo and Wade in scrimmages and predicting their shortcomings in 2006. Gilbert Arenas had a signature shoe with Adidas, and according to him, Team USA is almost exclusively for Nike athletes, because they don't want to promote a rival shoe on an international stage. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through every player on this USA roster and find out whether this is fact or theory. Anthony Edwards, Adidas. Jalen Brunson, Nike. Tyrese Halliburton, Nike. Mikal Bridges, Nike. Josh Hart, Nike. Brandon Ingram, Nike. Jaren Jackson Jr., Nike. Cam Johnson, Nike. Bobby Portis, Nike. 8 out of 12 players wear Nike. Paolo Banchero wears Jordan, an extension of Nike. So that's essentially 9 out of 12. Of the 12 players, there's no Puma, no Under Armour, and only 2 Adidas representatives. Who are the exceptions? Austin Reeves. He wears Renija. Not exactly a major competitor of Nike. He's also a white guy that, let's be serious, is only there to appeal to a certain demographic. Walker Kessler, let's be honest, is only there to appeal to the same demographic as Reeves. And of course, Anthony Edwards. Now, Ant-Man is interesting. I know a lot of people are thinking, DKM, if Ant wears Adidas and is on Team USA, what's stopping them from picking Trae Young? Let's take a look at the top 5 players that wear Adidas in the NBA. Only one of them doesn't have a signature shoe. Can you guess who it is? Yeah, it's Anthony Edwards. Who would you say is the best player on this Team USA roster? I'm guessing some of you will also say Anthony Edwards. So why was the best player originally left out of the starting lineup until they started losing to the select team with number 52 and needed to make a change in order to avoid an inevitable international embarrassment? After looking at 4 USA squads from 2016 to 2013, 48 total players, 38 wore Jordan or Nike. But we can't base this off of just one USA team, because it could just be coincidence. Nike, after all, are the most popular sportswear brand. Why don't we take a look at other Team USA squads from the last decade and find out if this is really fact or theory? The 2021 Olympic squad, of 12 players, 9 of them wore Nike or Jordan, meaning 3 players wore other brands. There was no Puma, no Under Armour, but there was 2 Adidas, Zach LaVine and Dame Lillard. Jeremy Grant and Keldon Johnson have since signed shoe deals with other brands and coincidentally haven't been called up to represent USA since. In the 2019 FIBA World Cup, out of 12 players, 10 of them wore Nike and Jordan, the exceptions being Donovan Mitchell and Marcus Smart. In the 2016 Olympic squad, out of 12 players, 10 of the 12 wore Nike and Jordan, the exceptions being Kyle Lowry and Klay Thompson. Lowry was Adidas, Klay was Anta. Again, not exactly a major rival of Nike. So after looking at 4 USA squads from 2016 to 2023, including 48 total players, 39 players wore Jordan and Nike. Dame Lillard, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Kyle Lowry and Walker Kessler wore Adidas. Klay wore Anta, Reeves wore whatever that is, and Marcus Smart is Puma. In percentages, that means 12.5% wore Adidas, 2% wore Puma, 6.3% wore other brands, and a majority 79.2% wore Nike or Jordan. See this photo of Team USA from the 2016 Olympics. Notice how the 3 players I mentioned, none of their shoes are visible in the team photo, while every Nike player is on display. Have any of you watched the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix, starring Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade, Carmelo? Do you know who wasn't featured much in the documentary, but was equally as vital to Team USA's success in Beijing? Dwight Howard. At the time, the best big man in basketball, first team All-NBA who finished 5th in MVP voting. In the entire documentary, Dwight Howard had just 10 seconds of screen time. Any guesses to why that is? Take a look at this photo. Every single USA player is wearing a Nike-owned shoe except one. Dwight Howard, who's with Adidas. Now tell me why Coach K is sitting right in front of Dwight of all people, covering the only pair of Adidas shoes in the room. If you're not convinced by now, I don't know what to tell you. I can't lie, Gilbert Arenas' claim is looking pretty valid. It is no coincidence that Nike sponsor Team USA and Team USA features almost exclusively Nike athletes. There are exceptions and have been in the past, but generally speaking, it seems as if the only time a non-Nike representative is going to be selected is if they are a major NBA superstar, best player in their position type of thing, like Dwight, Harden, Curry, Dame, or if you're a filler body there to add some diversity to the squad and appeal to white America. The main thing I think Nike don't want is the star of USA basketball wearing another shoe. And that's why you won't see Trae Young or LaMelo Ball selected, because both of those guys have the potential to be the best player on Team USA, especially this squad. Trae Young and LaMelo Ball would be 2 of, if not the best 2 players, depending on who you ask. What you really don't want if you're Nike is the standout player wearing a different shoe that stands out even more because everyone else is wearing Nikes. Part of the reason Air Jordan was so successful was while everyone was wearing white Converse, Michael Jordan was wearing black and red Nikes, dominating on the court and standing out while doing so. Could you imagine LaMelo Ball dominating the World Cup in the brightest pair of basketball shoes ever seen to man? You'd have Puma shoes flying off the shelves on an international level. Of course, if they can avoid that happening, they're gonna do so. Evidently, it is in the best interests of Nike to use their influence as sponsors of Team USA to limit competitive brands' exposure on the global stage, while exclusively promoting their own brand and shoes instead. I have seen arguments online, people trying to justify Trae and LaMelo's absences from a basketball perspective, as if this has anything to do with basketball. The official reason given for Trae Young's exclusion via The Athletic is that his ball dominant style won't translate to the international game. Here is what Jerry Colangelo of Team USA said about Trae Young and why he wasn't chosen.
He's done really well in the NBA, but predicated on what we felt we needed, he didn't fit the bill this time around.
Speaking of someone's game not translating to the FIBA game, well, what about LaMelo Ball? Why is he not included? I challenge you to tell me one player on Team USA with more international experience playing FIBA rules than LaMelo Ball. He has played professionally all over the world in 3 different continents. Not countries, continents. He was playing professionally against some of these guys that are going to be at the World Cup when he was 16 years old. Why isn't LaMelo Ball on the team when he is the most FIBA ready player of all the USA guys on that roster? They simply don't want to give exposure to Puma. It has nothing to do about basketball, it is all politics.
It's that sorry ass other brand. You know that other brand.
The other man is
It's that other brand, man. They be doing too motherfucking much.
If you have made it up to this point of the video and learned something new, click that big red button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, share your thoughts and feedback down below in the comments, and on that note, it's DKM signing out. Until next time, and peace.